Hey, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. I'm Sir Scoots. You're watching the FACEIT Season 2 LAN Finals from Milan, Italy. I'm joined again by my good friends Lurpus and Thorin. How are you guys doing today?
Still good.
Still good?
Getting better.
It's such an easy question for you. Just I'm good. I'm good.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for today because when the original schedule was announced, where we were going to play all the group games yesterday, I didn't think I'd get to see North American teams playing on day 2, so I'm going to get to see both of them. I'm really looking forward to it. They made it to day 2.
Shots
now
fired
let's see
early.
if they can get into that top 4 or not.
Yeah, and again, like yesterday, played almost all the groups. We've got 2 matches left over. We've got a bracket, a little placement for you so we can see how yesterday ended up. Obviously, LDLC stacking Group A and Fnatic doing the exact same thing at Group B. And then it gets really kind of critical here. Virtus.pro, Cloud9 playing each other today. Basically, do or die for both those teams. Exact same thing on the other side with Group B, iBUYPOWER, Dignitas.
Well, the big thing to consider today is that the round difference only matters in the matches between the teams who are tied. So that actually just completely changes the difference situation, at least in Group B, where Dignitas actually would have had to win against iBUYPOWER with quite a big margin to advance. But now that we know the rule is that only the rounds in this upcoming, or these 2 upcoming matches matter, that completely changes the outlook of this group and puts a lot more pressure on iBUYPOWER.
Yeah, and again, two come out, and we start our semifinals later today. So again, do or die for both these teams. We are doing the Dignitas iBUYPOWER match, and we also have a top 5 plays from yesterday we want to show you guys, so let's go ahead and roll that, and then we'll chit-chat about it.
A few times, and happy as well.
He's made this famous.
In CT as well.
Push is ready to come in though. Already a pick before they make it their way in, and it's just their numbers being thinned out. Just oh my goodness, LDLC.
Fairground attraction right now because they're literally, this is a duck shoot. They're waiting for these guys to come in and they're just going to pick them up one by one. Here we go. Shox with 1, 2, 3 in a row. Hat-trick for Shox. Right now, JW doing work on short. He's going to pick up 1. Couldn't get the second though. Nice little shot from Skadoodle. Stunning second one as well. Showing us exactly what he can do with that AWP. And now Skadoodle and Swag versus Crims and Flusher. For a 5-0 round, Skadoodle picks up his 3rd of the round. Might get a 4th here right at the bottom of A. Flusher trying to come through. Ooh, and does so. Brilliant round from Skadoodle.
Knowing it's very possible. It's going to be obviously requiring level of execution. That hasn't come out just yet.
Going to need something magical. Ready to push it, does pick up the frag on Happy, very nicely done indeed. Now, can they make their way towards this bomb site? They can! Shroud suddenly found a bit of form, 2 in. Bomb site is now exposed, 15 seconds remaining, and that bomb is going to go down in a 2v2. And Cloud9 absolutely have to hold this one now. And Shroud's gone massive here, huge round from him. He's got a massive ace! That's absolutely sensational stuff from Shroud.
Good setup here though from LDLC.
It's going to be another one for Smith, no problem at all. This time, Semphis is the man that suffers at the hands of the AWP. Nothing, she did get one at quad here. Shroud are right with him, they're going to try and get into this covered site right now. Smith gets yet another one, and another one! Added 4 to his death. Can he get the last one? He can! Fabulous round. It's an ace from LDLC's Smith.
Well, that was some great stuff, and obviously we saw way more good rounds than just those 5. And I got to give shout-outs to the 2nd oldest man in esports, Redeye, for doing his best toss spot impersonation with that sensational call. Not bad, Redeye. Not bad, buddy.
He's channeling Stuart there, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Although that is a copyrighted phrase, so I hope the royalties will be going over to the necessary person.
I'm sure the legal team's already involved in that. So, what did you guys think of yesterday overall, play-wise? What teams super impressed you, and what teams, you know, surprised you in the opposite way, in the sense of how they came and played?
Well, I mean, I think LDLC looked by far the best out of everybody yesterday. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a surprise. I thought they were the favorites coming in here based on recent results in their online play. I think Fnatic surprised me, or I think they're performance overall was just surprising because they looked so good in that first series, or the first 2 matches rather, against Dignitas, and then against iBUYPOWER they just looked lackluster. It didn't really seem like they got anything going. I mean, they wound up winning both games, but still mixed signals from that team.
Yeah, I thought LDLC I think they were the best team in the tournament so far. They had their most impressive performances. The only game that was really even close for them was the one against Virtus.pro on Inferno, where I can't even really say that it was like they were let down that much as Virtus.pro had a really inspired CT half on their best map, actually. So it's not really like that's the knock against LDLC. Meanwhile, Fnatic also won all 4 games, but actually Fnatic's were a bit more touch and go. Like those games against iBUYPOWER, both of those could have been lost. They played them on maps that, okay, they are strong maps for iBUYPOWER, but I would have really thought Fnatic on Inferno should have been quite dominant, and they weren't at all. So I think they showed a bit of weakness there. Like if Fnatic's going to the playoffs now, we already know. So if I'm the teams coming from the other group, no matter who they are, like I'm already thinking like, okay, if we can get them on those maps, actually that's doable for some of us. Maybe you can maybe steal a win off them on Dust 2 or something. So going forwards, even though Fnatic topped their group, I think there's a little bit of weakness there. And then from the other teams, iBUYPOWER gave a pretty decent account of themselves, but couldn't get a win. And at the end of the day, like moral victories, you can't take those to the bank and cash them. They don't do anything for you. I thought Virtus.pro kind of never got quite into the game, so it's going to be it's actually quite hard to tell who's going to come out of these 2 games now, I think. There's a lot of gamesmanship in terms of the maps you pick and this whole round difference issue.
Yeah.
That's going to be more than just like, oh, one team will win 2. I don't think it'll be like that. I think it's going to be more down to round difference, actually.
Yeah, and to key on that, just to make sure everyone at home understands how this now works, both these teams, obviously, the one we're going to do, Dignitas and iBUYPOWER and Cloud9 and Virtus.pro, are in basically a do-or-die situation. Again, 2 best of ones, they're going to play against each other. And the way it'll work is obviously either team 2-0s the other team, they're through. No math needed to be done. If they end up taking a map each, we will then add up all the rounds, and the one with the higher round win will go ahead and move forward. If at the end of that little breaker we end up being tied, a 16-10 to a 10-16, they'll then go into a new map. They will coin flip for the first veto choice. They will back and forth veto till 1 map's left. And then that map, winner take all, score obviously doesn't necessarily matter in the sense of rounds. So again, it's kind of nice because yesterday does go away for Dignitas in the sense of how bad, like you were saying, their rounds, huge deficit. So it's all, as we like to say, in their own hands. Their destiny is in their own hands. No one else affects them. Thoughts on this format and this process, and before we get into this match, since we're not going to do Cloud9 and Virtus.pro, thoughts on that one first in the sense of who you think is going to pull off the wins?
Well, I mean, I actually thought Virtus.pro was going to advance for sure before when they had a couple round difference, because basically what that would have meant is if they would have won their map, say 16-12, then Cloud9 would have had to win something like 16-6 or so. So that would have been almost impossible. There would have been too many rounds. Now a lot of both of these series depend on the first map. If the home team wins the first map, say 16-14, 16-13, then it's definitely anyone's game. But if you get something like a 16-10, 16-9 win, then it's a lot more dicey. And we were talking to some of the Cloud9 guys over at breakfast, and they made it clear that if they lose the first map badly, they're going to make sure they're going to try to get a map where one side is heavily favored in their own game. So then if they win the knife round, they get to start that side, and they at least have a realistic chance of making up for that round deficit.
Okay, this might sound a bit controversial, but I'm not. I keep it real.
I'm
not really that much of a fan of that type of a tiebreaker. Actually, like I prefer it where all the rounds against everyone count. Because, for example, iBUYPOWER put on a great performance in 2 maps but lost. And they don't get any reward for that. Dignitas got completely stomped, and yet it's like, okay, start over. That didn't happen. Like I actually, just for myself, I'd prefer the other style, so you get rewarded for overall. Yeah, more of a holistic approach.
Yep.
But
I agree.
With that said, this is the way it is, and within these circumstances, like what I said, what I actually like about it is it does provide gamesmanship. Because now, think about it this way. Let's say the first map that you pick is something like Cash or Nuke, where it's going to be potentially very one-sided. If you start CT, you roll to 12 rounds, you could win 16-6. Because of the way the tiebreaker works, you now know, okay, even if actually my opponent would be a decent team to play on something like Inferno or something, I can't afford to play them on that because I don't want to be in a situation where it's a map that there's going to be a lot of rounds for both teams. Now I know, okay, if I'm down 12 rounds, I've got to get onto Cash or Nuke myself now. I've got to get a total roll. And likewise, say you start off on Dust 2 and you win narrowly, you want to get to a similar scenario there. So actually, I think you'll see that affect the picks more than before when you're just picking for what I can get, which is my strongest. Because now you're actually trying to pick based on the round difference as well as just winning. Because going 1-to-1's enough here, then it goes to the tiebreaker. So it's a different bit of a wrinkle. You don't usually see it in tournaments, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Because I know both teams will think about it after map 1.
Yep. Now, again, we're going to do Dignitas iBUYPOWER, but what was the map? That's the first map for complexity. Oh, Jesus.
Cash.
Complexity. Cloud9.
Cash.
Sorry, Jason. Cash. Okay, so
Yeah.
thoughts on that, this first map at least, for that match.
I don't like it for the Cloud9 guys.
Me neither.
Like, even though everyone's going to think of yesterday, okay? Everyone's memory is like a goldfish in esports. So like, oh, well, yesterday I saw LDLC just destroyed Virtus.pro and Cash, so they must not even be good on that. No, that was like the 3rd game that they've ever lost out of 10 that they've played offline on Cash. They're a phenomenal team on Cash. And LDLC are a strong team, so I don't think you put too much stock into that. I'm actually worried for Cloud9 here that this is a map where Virtus.pro can really bounce back and very strong. So I think the first one, I'm leaning more towards the Virtus.pro guys here, and then I want to see what will complexity go to on their map pick. But I think Virtus.pro for this.
Too. It's hard. It's hard.
You did it to me, Scott.
I know. I set it up.
I think Cloud9's problem on Cash is that they play really like freewheeling style on their T side. They like to have Semphis call on the fly. They don't have a lot of set things, and Cash is a super CT-sided map. So they basically have to rely on getting a ridiculous amount of CT side rounds or just a terrorist pistol and just lucking into a few more rounds. Because if you watched the CEVO finals a couple weeks ago, Cloud9's T side just looked really, really, really weak.
Yeah.
And that was against iBUYPOWER. No disrespect, but Virtus.pro is a little better as a team.
All right, let's jump right into this next one. Now, let's go ahead and look at the graphic. We have the bans and the pick for this setup. We don't have it, but I have it. Never mind.
Okay.
So iBUYPOWER is starting as the home team, meaning Dignitas away team. They got rid of Season and Cash, and then iBUYPOWER picked Dust 2.
Alzheimer kicking in yet, Scott?
Wait, what did I?
Because you forgot you had the maps?
No, I thought a graphic was coming up, so then I had to look at it.
There's a lot of complexity in trying to handle these sorts of productions.
You don't
like
got no
this.
one in your ear, you know. Yeah, anyway, thoughts.
Ignorance is bliss.
Quote Lurpus, 2014.
Yeah. I think Dust 2 is the best map for iBUYPOWER. I knew Dignitas was going to remove Season. They don't play the map. There's no point for them. And they know that iBUYPOWER have scored some wins against European teams on that map. Cash, I guess Dignitas just don't feel that comfortable on it, which is odd considering I assume you also saw their game against Fnatic at DreamHack Stockholm, and Dignitas looked pretty good on it. I've always felt
on Cash?
Dignitas
are a fantastic Cash team.
Dignitas is a really good Cash team. So
when I referred to before Virtus.pro being really good on Cash, you have to remember it was actually coming into the semi-final at Gfinity. Dignitas had destroyed Nip on Cash, and so actually we all thought they were one of the strongest teams. So actually, I would expect they want that to be in the pool for sure.
Yeah, but they must be aware of iBUYPOWER's tendency to just go just all or nothing by like they use 4 snipers on Cash, and that's really, really tough to play against. So they probably feel like they'd rather just play a more neutral map, just make sure they don't get just completely shut down on that side. And Dust 2, I think Dust 2 is a very good map for Dignitas. They're a really, really good CT side team, and that's what they're known for. And Dust 2, if you're playing well on Dust 2, you can always grind out rounds. Plus, they also have the added benefit of having seen iBUYPOWER play Dust 2 last night. They for sure watched the Fnatic game, so they should know some of their tendencies a little better now.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Starting us off this morning again is Red Eye and DDK. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As Scott said earlier on, a time zone friendly welcome to you. The LAN Finals here of FACEIT Season 2 is well underway. Day 1 was a lot of fun for me personally. I know you had a lot of fun as well, Dan, right?
Yeah, I like talking random bollocks, and you also facilitate that as well as James. So that's really good. Okay, we had some fun with that.
I'm facilitating random bollocks now.
Yes,
it's interesting.
You're encouraging me.
It's a very English phrase as well. We might have. We're going to get into our game very shortly. It's going to be a cracking game as well. Do or die for both teams, as the guys on the analysis desk already mentioned as well. And just a quick mention as well, I did steal a phrase you may have heard once or twice from the mouth of Stuart Tosspot Saw. That was in honour of him not being here yesterday, because he actually gifted me the opportunity to come and do this event. So that was one for Stuart yesterday, in honour of him not being here.
I think you pulled it off quite well.
Huh?
You put it off quite well.
Not as good as he does.
I was impressed.
No.
Well, no one can really beat Stuart. There is only one toss pop.
Luckily, there is only one. Here we go then. iBUYPOWER versus Team Dignitas. Winner takes all and moves on to the semi-final. It is a best of one and a best of one, as Scott has already explained. We're into the knife round, which we haven't seen any knife rounds so far. It's not my favourite round, I have to say. I usually use some fun stuff in knife rounds. We do. Joe and I have over the years perfected the art of singing knife rounds, or doing it in Scottish, or all sorts of other crazy stuff.
But one thing I want to add quickly before the game gets underway is that this game becomes really, really exciting to me, because iBUYPOWER and Dignitas, I mean, we had the opinion from Lepus and Thorin that, okay, this is a situation whereby they pro the holistic approach, as Thorin mentioned, when it comes to the round differences. But this is actually really exciting, because the beauty of this format as a whole that I really enjoy is that all the teams, basically every single match, really, really counts. Every single match, and they get the chance to have that happen again here. iBUYPOWER, they can just say, okay, however well we did, it's fine. We're into a new match. It's all on line here. This is what counts. And the same goes for Dignitas. They don't have to have anything else from the past in their mind. They can completely reset. And that, I think, as a viewer, for me personally, it makes me really excited.
Yeah,
really
excited.
I
wouldn't argue with the excitement angle of it. I think as we wait for this game to get started, it's definitely an interesting set of rules. I think, from a fan's point of view, definitely works. I have to be more in agreement with both Duncan and Tommy. Though I do feel, in a weird way, it's a shame, because iBUYPOWER did so well yesterday, and that counts for absolutely nothing now.
Right.
On the other hand, I also spoke to Scott earlier, and we also said that it's sort of nice that no other team affects. I mean, say for instance yesterday iBUYPOWER played Nuke and they'd lost 16-1,
yes.
right? Then we'd be saying, well, it's nicer now that they've still got an opportunity today because they played a map which is so CT biased. I mean, imagine they played Cash and then Nuke and lost 16-1, 16-1.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all been saying, well, they played terrible. But they might not have done. It might have just been the CT bias, right? And then they come into today having to win 16-1, 16-1 to go through. That seems a little bit unfair. So I do see both sides of it. I really do.
And there's pistol round time here. Things kicking off in a very tentative fashion, as Dignitas just tried to test the ground. And Skadoodle looks like he's in a good position. He can just fall back now. Big advantage for iBUYPOWER. But Dignitas is still okay. They got the Glocks, and they still have some utility with the grenades.
Man advantage early on for the North Americans. I want that to continue as well. We saw them play Dust 2 yesterday. We saw them come very close yesterday. Spoke to a couple of the guys that watched the game afterwards. Shocks in particular, who watched it and said he thought iBUYPOWER should have won Dust 2. He didn't see the Inferno game, and I'm pretty sure everyone agrees they should have won Inferno. They won neither, and now find themselves in a position where they have to beat Dignitas twice, or at least once heavily. Here they go, going to push through mid here. Two men in towards the site. It's Zipnix who's trying to get in through the door. He's going to make his way in. AZK's waiting for him. He doesn't manage to beat the oncoming onslaught of iBUYPOWER players, though, and they've managed to dispose of two. And now Dignitas have the advantage. Skadoodle trying to make his way back in. He's already got one in the round. aizy picks up one on DaZeD. There is dupreeh very low on health right now as the flashes go in, slightly badly timed actually, and Skadoodle and Steel fall at the hands of Zip and FeTiSh, and Dignitas claim round one.
Yeah, really, really nice actually. I think I saw a decoy on long, and it's not too often the decoys get used. And
getting used more and more though recently. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean they have a lot of utility actually. Yeah. Just the sound generally. I mean, if you don't get visual confirmation, it's hard to know.
They're definitely better than they used to be. I mean, before when they just sat there just pounding away, they were kind of useless, weren't they? But now they're a bit more random.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's a bit like Molotovs as well. Teams are using every single advantage, really working out how to use them.
Wow! Stunning couple of shots from Swag in the middle. Double headshot with the 75. And aizy has to come back in and lock that one down. FeTiSh picks himself up one at long. Reply back is from AZK again. It's now a 2v1. And a health advantage here for Dignitas, but not a gun advantage or a personnel advantage. They've got bomb at long A. They know exactly where it is here as well. aizy now going to come face to face with Steel and AZK. They've got to set this one up very nicely indeed, because aizy's got the health advantage, and he does manage to clutch the round in a 1v2. And Dignitas take round 2, but that was an expensive round.
That really was, and it's in CS:GO. Sometimes you think, okay, we have a round, we can talk a little bit, but no, you have to always do the CZ check. Are there CZs in play? All right, let's focus on the action. I mean, Dignitas, as you said, very expensive round for them, and they know that iBUYPOWER may very well want to challenge them again, so they have to. They're doing a good job here, just pushing in together and get the bomb down. After plant is perfect.
Look at this.
They can get that.
4-man stack in mid, waiting for anything. They've not gone across. And look at that. Double again from Swag. He's done it 2 rounds in a row. Can he get a third? He can get a third. Brilliant. That's 4 from Swag in the round. CZ 75. Take a bow.
Oh my God. That. If we think about the cost efficiency of that, what was that? That's basically 4 AKs picked up there. For the cost of, basically for the price of a CZ and a Flash, that's like...
I think they had 2 CZs.
Too many numbers.
Yeah, I think they had 2 CZ 75s, and that's it. That's all they had on that round. Remarkable start in this game. FeTiSh with the AWP on DaZeD. Little gap in the smoke at long here for Steel to spy 1, and there is a man making his way towards that area. And aizy heavily tagged.
They really need some short presence now, do Dignitas, to really kind of figure out what's happening at the moment. But it's hard to challenge, as they do know that there's a weapon advantage on iBUYPOWER, and they don't really have grenades to flash themselves in safely. So gaining position right now is very hard for Dignitas, but they are going to be trying to achieve that, to set themselves up for this A play, which they have read is the stronger play now, having picked off a player and received an advantage early on.
FeTiSh now making his way forward. He's got 2 men just behind him, actually. Bomb carrier is on short. 40 seconds remaining. Looks like A might well be the target here. Zip now coming away. He's going to try and make a little bit of noise at A to kind of make them guess a little bit more. 4-man stack here. Well, actually, 3-man stack on short. They're about to move in towards the site. Skadoodle realising that there's something going down right now, but he flashed the wrong way. dupreeh will pick up the frag, and the bomb will be planted with ease on A. He was the only man there. And Steel now at long is, well, he's kind of isolated, and he's worried about long A as well, because he's heard some disturbance back there. And that's going to make this a very cautious run. He might not even go for this. His 2 friends are staying over at B, so I think he's just literally looking for a pick here. And Zip is the man who's going to come back around behind him. And they're going to go 1-on-1. And Steel is going to win it. Nicely done. It's just about all he could get out of this.
It's a really hard situation there for iBUYPOWER, because they wanted to play without taking any risks and just rely on having weapon advantage on the defenses. And you can see that Dignitas just able to slowly make their way up. And iBUYPOWER, without any notice of this or any heads up, were having to just react. And Dignitas, having the immense skill that they do, just had to execute on some of the entries. And it really was as simple as that for them now, and slowly winning their way back into the game. But these saves from iBUYPOWER and have been just, it's so topsy-turvy right now between these 2 teams, economically and just also on the execution. Very, very fun stuff to start off the day. Yeah,
it was a mixed buy that last round as well from Dignitas. We had the AWP on FeTiSh, who had saved in round 3 when his team bought. And then we had a couple of 75s and a couple of AKs as well. So a real mixed bag of weaponry for them. But it's worked out. I can't remember who said it to me last week, but someone said having the 75 is almost like having a mini AK with you. And
I think James says that sometimes as well.
And when you have a mixed buy like that, and you have 2 with 75s, 2 with AKs and an AWP, it's almost as good as a full buy.
Yeah, very well can be.
A couple of set smokes going in towards the site here. That's actually going to be a bluff, though, as DaZeD picks himself up 2. AZK will get a 3rd in the middle. Only Device replying back here, and, well, Dignitas have absolutely fallen apart in round 5. And FeTiSh has a very expensive weapon on him right now, and 19 health. and there is only one thing he's going to do, and that's hide.
I think part of the problem there for Dignitas on the push through middle, they decided, okay, let's just go for the B split.
Oh, lovely shot from Skadoodle through the middle that picks up the final kill on the round and disposes of the AWP. So, terrible round for Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, I really think part of the problem was the fact that they didn't decide to test A at all for information, because usually what you will see teams do as a terrorist side is once they've gained some control of short, they try to actually flash themselves in to actually peek into A and see what's actually going on, because there's a variety of positions that they see or do not see, actually inform them as to if there will be a crossfire on middle.
Okay, we're going to fast push in towards B here on an eco here from Dignitas, and this is going to be a complete wipe of the team, with just one man tagged, actually 2 men tagged for health, but no losses on the iBUYPOWER side. They were completely aware and ready of that B rush. 3-3.
And they certainly need to do their best now to avoid running into any setups from iBUYPOWER and allowing them to have their best possible engagements. And that's really where they lost their last buy round. And here they're stuck on the CZ. As you pointed out, that might not be quite the bad thing, but they're going to make it work.
Dignitas starting things off nicely in round 7. And still gone from the lineup. Was excellent yesterday, has to be said. Had 2 very, very good maps. Hasn't really kicked off just yet. Look at that. B completely exposed right now, completely left alone. They've got a boost in mid. 2 on A.
They do have a player who, the guy who's actually close on mid can actually hear. They had the double stack to look over the smoke into short, could actually hear any movement through lower dark, so they're kind of gambling on there to begin with. So our man down.
They have stacked the right side here. With the time running down, Dignitas starting to run out of options. They do have a man over in lower B right now, but the majority of them are now going to push along long A. Here they go. They've smoked gap. Swag is really started on fire this morning, and he picks up the first kill of this passage of play. And Dignitas drop down to 4 men now, one with only 2 points of health, 2 of them also mortally wounded here. Skadoodle with the AWP shot, Swag with his second of the round. And iBUYPOWER now trying to come into the bomb site to retake this one. Flash down to long A. 4v2. Device now trying to defend on shorts, not going to be able to do that. And Swag with his third of the round, Skadoodle with his second. And iBUYPOWER have taken the lead here. It's 4-3.
Wow, a nice triple there from Swag. Absolutely on point. You can see 13 frags there already, just miles ahead of anybody else on the server.
Go and check his PC, please.
I mean, this is really interesting though, because iBUYPOWER, like most American teams, they love to put everything onto Dust 2. They're so comfortable with that, and you can really see that early in the morning here today.
Do you think it also comes? Oh, hold on, we've got another big push in towards this B bomb site. A couple of big flashes came in from Device. He's managed to break into the site here, and his teammates are right behind him. FeTiSh is going to try and wait long A as a decoy. That didn't work though.
The bomb is there actually.
But yeah, they do have bomb down. And now look at this, Skadoodle under pressure here from 3 men. They really are under pressure, but Skadoodle, can he clean up? He gets a double just outside the bomb site, and it's now a 3-on-1. What a crucial couple of kills that was. Because if they'd gotten him, they would have had a 3-man stack inside that site, the bomb planted, well, not bomb planted, but at least the control of the site, and they would have had a man advantage as well. As it is, it's now a 3-on-1. dupreeh doesn't have a huge amount of health, but that's not going to worry him. He picks up one, not the second. And iBUYPOWER, well, luckily in some respects, come through to win in round 8. But Skadoodle did some great defensive work at the door.
Well, he did have the Steel 7, so so it's all good. And yes, that was really crucial. A frag that they absolutely should have had. And now the double AWP setup coming in from iBUYPOWER, and they're going to actually go for the boost. And this aggressive move might just catch Dignitas.
I was just going to go back to your point about the Dust 2 pick, and it's pretty much what Tommy said earlier and what Thorin said actually, in the sense that it's a safe pick. They know that even if they lose, they're going to lose close. They're not going to have a risky one-sided CT bias map. So it's a smart pick, really.
And they've taken a lot of control of middle right now. This is going to give them a lot of information. But Dignitas, meanwhile, operating from long, they're going to leave a man there. And this is going to get very interesting soon. Some
very interesting strats from iBUYPOWER. They left B open in 1 round, 2 rounds ago. Now they've left A open completely as well. They're quite comfortable with that. They don't really have a standard kind of 2-3 split over 2 sides. very interesting to watch. Swag getting another one, and Skadoodle is on shore. He's going to pick up a double stunning couple of shots from him again. And this is going to be an iBUYPOWER round once more. FeTiSh, the last man alive, again has an AWP, again has to go and hide, and again will be lucky to get away with his life here.
This was actually a really... Oh, that was beautiful. FeTiSh is quite monstrous with that AWP, but it's a really beautiful round from Dignitas. Could really see what they're trying to do there, but as you pointed out, a very unorthodox approach, as FeTiSh might just try to get challenged here.
That's like the biggest bait of it all time, trying to come on there. That's brilliant from DaZeD. Nicely done. Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me if you can.
I wonder if iBUYPOWER will pull out more aggressive players like this. They've got a lot of bank now, so they can start taking these risks, and that's why they went for that. But they had control of all of middle, so they knew a lot about the map. And Dignitas tried to leave someone in long and then rotate around to catch someone on the rotation, but they already had middle, and they just ran into iBUYPOWER's setup.
Swag once more with the AWP. Double AWPs again. And lots of movement at long A here, and DaZeD through the flashes does pick up one. He could see that better than I could.
What's going on here?
It's a three-man boost in A, obviously. Skadoodle again, 1, 2, not the third. Zipnik's picking that one up. He'll drop at the hands of DaZeD though, as we follow the bullet literally into him. And now aizy will be the last man standing here. 4v1. This is going terrifically well for iBUYPOWER, stretching out their lead to 4 rounds here. Unless aizy can come up with something magical. I'm not aware of any.
He's not a wizard.
No wizardry powers. I'm not aware of any wizardry powers. He's a bit of a magician at times, but
he won't be receiving a visit from Hagrid on his 12th birthday.
No, I think he might be over 12.
That's a good point. There's a flaw there in that.
Yeah, I think he might be over 12. Talking of birthdays, by the way, happy birthday to Mr. Jordan Gilbert, because he's 21 again today.
He's experiencing the passing of time. Another year on the belt.
7-3, iBUYPOWER leading, and starting to look a little more comfortable, it has to be said, but Swag is having an absolute monster. I tell you what as well, Skadoodle is not far behind him on the scoreboard either. And again, Swag picks up the first kill of the round. He's made some very, very big frags. AZK now with a double, DaZeD in with a third, and FeTiSh. Let's just record this phrase, all right? Can someone record this in the sound area?
All right.
And FeTiSh is the last man standing with AWP, and he's going to have to run and hide.
All right, well...
Because this is the third time we've had to say that now in the last 5 rounds. Short range AWP, that's not going to work out. Pistol worked out much better, though, and he's under a lot of pressure here from both sides. I thought we might have even had that slice and dice, but not to be, as DaZeD disposes of the captain of Dignitas. It's 8-3 right now.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the reason why this keeps happening is because, once again, iBUYPOWER decide, okay, we have a great ability to play some risks because we've got money, we've got round buffers, so let's use it. And, FeTiSh going to try to use the timing with the AWP onto long, but another aggression, a dark take.
Yeah, Swag's in again, and he's again opened up the round for them. Still's going to follow it up. Swag has just been absolutely brilliant.
They're so aggressive at the moment. They're taking middle very often. They're pushing dark.
And they left A open once more. Skadoodle's going to spot it from CT spawn, but they've got 3 on short very quickly. And I think FeTiSh has figured this one out now. The smart mind of the Dane has pulled out their number, but Skadoodle is also on fire as well. He's got one. Whoa! That's a big haircut for the man that just walked towards A. And a 3v2, still possible for Dignitas here. AZK getting rid of FeTiSh now. 2v1, Zip the last man standing. He's going to fall at the power of the AK of AZK. And iBUYPOWER rack up round number 9 on the scoreboard with 3 to go for the half. And you wouldn't bet against the Americans taking all 3.
Yeah, this is amazing actually, because they had a situation where there's so much pressure on one side of the map, they can play for the retake. It didn't matter that Dignitas had long.
Early pick is not connected for Skadoodle through mid. dupreeh feeling like there might be a man who's pushed mid, but that's not the case right now. Much more standard setup this time. 3 on A, 2 on B, 1 at long.
not pushing their luck now, iBUYPOWER, with the being over aggressive. Dignitas should be expecting that absolutely and taking every precaution at this point. It's a surprise that iBUYPOWER getting away with this for as long as they did.
But they've been mixing it up as well. I think it comes back to what Steele said about those scrappy tactics that they needed to kind of mould in with their standard rounds. And it's now kept Dignitas guessing. That's the great thing about it, is they've played so fluidly that Dignitas aren't entirely sure of what they're going to do next. And now they're playing a standard round, and Dignitas, well, they didn't read it. So really tough to play against this kind of play. And when you've got a player like Swag and Skadoodle hitting your shots, it becomes even more hard. dupreeh now trying to make his way in towards this B bomb site. Swag with the opening frag for about the 15th time in 12 rounds. It's not even mathematically possible, but I'm pretty sure it is. Chance this time round. 2v3 once more. Bomb planted for Dignitas. aizy now the last man standing, and he's going to come under pressure from Skadoodle, and that's going to be another round in the bag. And iBUYPOWER have number 10.
A big problem for Dignitas in that round was the fact that when they made the push, it was actually a great idea to go for the B split, considering the setup that Dignitas had, but they didn't create any threat towards A, because to actually decide to go for a play, it's about, you always know as a team you'll have a man advantage, even if you don't have the best engagements, but it's about delaying the rotation so you can keep that advantage to set up off the plant. They didn't have that time. No luxury.
Hello again
for them.
Let's record that one as well. Swag opens up with the opening kill of the round, because that's happened an awful lot in this game so far.
This guy is beasting today.
He is absolutely on fire. Brilliant stuff from Swag. Another opening kill. Again, gives his team the advantage. Gives them a strategical advantage as well. And Dignitas having to play from behind. And I think they've had to do that in almost every round since they won their third round. But since that round, they've lost 8 on the bounce.
And they're really looking for a pick right now to at least force a rotation and create a situation where iBUYPOWER have to change their defense, which is something that they can then exploit with some extra added information. But so far, iBUYPOWER giving them nothing.
Yeah, again, they've gone back to a sort of 2-1-2 split now across the two sides. Still just pushing in and getting himself a frag, so now the options are limited even more. Device then falls at the hands of Skadoodle. 2 left. Make that 1 as Skadoodle picks up his second. And FeTiSh is the last man standing with AWP, and he's not even going to get tired.
It's it's looking scary, isn't it?
This is crazy. This is absolutely... it's just insane. I mean, we know how good Dignitas are. We know what a great in-game leader FeTiSh is. But nothing is working for them right now.
I call him the drill sergeant.
He is a drill sergeant. That's absolutely what he is. I was very lucky to have him in my team when I managed a team in Counter-Strike. And he absolutely is the drill sergeant.
And now they have to resort to just throwing all their money into the last round. It's a very scrappy buy. And it does look to be that they want to set up a push quite aggressively towards B, but they're looking for that aggression from iBUYPOWER first to see if they can get an easy opener to make it just a little bit easier.
I mean, I'm not going to be rude about Dignitas, but does it even matter if they get a 4th round here? I mean, they've been playing so badly that it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Look at the scoreboard right now, 20 for Swag, but add up all of the kills for Dignitas right now.
They're not fragging.
They have 25 kills between them. That's 5 more than Swag has on his own. They're not fragging. They're not getting any of the shots. And it's not going to work out in round 15 either. They've got 2 here on AZK. Swag's picked up a 3rd. Only Zipnik's replying back. It's going to be finished off in style by Swag, appropriately enough, who gets a 3-man in the final round to finish the half on 23 kills. 12-3 iBUYPOWER.
And this is the problem. I mean, you're talking about the round difference. They absolutely need everything.
They do.
They need everything.
They do.
Because now they're forced to this situation where they have to try and get a nuke in. They have to. And that actually helps iBUYPOWER, because nuke is a great map for iBUYPOWER.
And the last time these two met on nuke, iBUYPOWER won.
Yeah. They are fantastic there. That's their bread and butter.
It's going to have to be a cash map, I think, if Dignitas go down this heavily. I mean, we always say the pistol rounds are important on the second half, but never more so than in this situation where they do need every single round. You're right. I mean, when we switch over, whatever the score is, Dignitas have to win by at least 1 more than they lost by in the first half, assuming that they're going to lose this map. I mean, it's still not over. We're talking about iBUYPOWER right now running away with this.
That's true. It's all down to this pistol, really.
There is still time for a comeback here, and it starts right now.
And look at how tentative iBUYPOWER are currently. They are really, really trying to just use all the round time. Are we watching Na'Vi right now? I don't know. Looks like it at the moment. It's very slow.
Standard from Dignitas.
And they are pushing up middle slowly now.
Now going to try and make their way through. And Zipnix picks up the first one on steel. Knows they're going to be pushing through mid. But they've got men waiting here, and they've got a good crossfire set up here. Skadoodle does... No, actually, AZK stole the kill, but it doesn't really matter. They got rid of the man that they were trying to aim for. aizy now coming under fire. Skadoodle gets another one. dupreeh firing back here. All hell breaking loose inside the bomb site now. dupreeh, last man standing. He'll fall at the hands of Swag again. And iBUYPOWER have stretched their lead to 13-3. It's almost an inevitable in this first match. It's just a question of how many rounds Dignitas can put on the board.
Dignitas they have to put 10 in a row, and they have to do something. They can't lose 16-3. They can't. That can't happen. Oh my god.
Swag is just nuts right now. There's no other words for it. He's just having an absolute monster game. Skadoodle not too far behind him, and wow.
Swag is the Terminator right now.
Gone for a scout. And 3 CZ75s for Dignitas. It doesn't really matter. They've got to pick up rounds now. They know this game is almost lost, but they seriously just have to fight every single round on its own merit. Cannot afford to lose this 16-3. They would have to win game 2 by 16 rounds to 2. dupreeh now. This is a nice looking setup. Going to get one. Ooh, reloaded. Could have picked up a second before he reloaded, but it doesn't matter. Zipnix actually picks up the second of the round now. And for the first time in the entire match, they have a 2-man advantage. Skadoodle trying to narrow the gap. Does so with the AK. AZK now on short. Going to push in here. He's got 1 man to fight against, which will be Device, who is set alight and is losing health all the time. He's going to go down here. Oh my goodness, down to 24 health, and then Swag disposes of him. And they've turned this one around. Look at this, Swag double, AZ came with the AK, and Dignitas, despite a 2-man advantage at one point, now have a 1v3. AZ has picked up 1 though. Can he get 2 more? Tough call, big round. Tries to lay down. Whoa! Damage, 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 but does it? Oh, couldn't get the last one. It was Swag 1v1. And iBUYPOWER, you might be able to hear the cheers behind, are leading 14-3 right now. And Dignitas are in all sorts of trouble. Look at the scoreboard right now. Steel's having an absolute shocker. 4 kills on him right now, but only 5 deaths.
But he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, because Swag's doing damage to everyone.
Yeah. Swag's in the front lines, just going Rambo on everybody. And iBUYPOWER just, they can do no wrong at the moment. Dignitas perhaps getting in their heads. They've had this situation happen to them before, but it's down to the CZ Scout buy to really throw a wrench, a novelty wrench into the works for their opponents. It's a good tag, but will it be enough to help out here? The smoke will delay them. But it looks like they want to go straight through it.
Yeah, they are going to push very quickly here. Another tag from Zipnix. But, well, not going to pick up the kill. Oh, does this time though. Nice little flick shot onto still. Brilliant shot at point blank range on the Swag. They've disposed of the devil himself. And now they've got a shot. 2v2. Skadoodle and DaZeD have the bomb down in A. The approach and the retake is going to have to be flawless here from Dignitas. aizy at short. They haven't managed to pick themselves up any weaponry. And so instead, they're going to have to try and push into this bomb site with a scout and a 75. It's possible, but it's high risk here. Skadoodle now trying to come back on this device, picks up the first one. Can they get the second? Oh my goodness, aizy's missed 3 shots in a row. They're going to try and go for the knife. That's ridiculous right now. aizy at short range. It's going to be a knife fight, and they're going to go down anyway because the bomb is going to blow. And in the end, the knife comes in from Skadoodle. I have absolutely no idea what the hell just happened.
What? Why is this happening? I don't understand that. that one moment almost surmises why Dignitas have had so many troubles going into semi-finals when
I want to laugh, Dan.
You want to laugh,
I want to laugh, but I can't.
You're crying.
Yeah, because
you're busy crying. That's
oh
why.
my goodness. Hashtag wrecked.
Well, this is potentially the last round for Dignitas unless they can pull it out with 3 Deagles and a Scout.
Oh my goodness. What a game from iBUYPOWER. What a game from Swag. MVP by a long way. Double in this round already. 3 men left, and this is going to be a 16-3 victory for the North Americans. Might just be one of the biggest victories they've pulled off in Europe on European soil. And it's been coming. They tempted at this yesterday in 2 games. They really did. Device again at short range. Unscoped, not able to pick up the kill. Does so though with the pistol, replying back. But they've got 2 men remaining here. 117 health separates iBUYPOWER from winning a massive advantage on Dust2. 16-3 with 2 men left. The molly comes out from Device. He falls at the hands of Swag appropriately enough. And AZK wraps up the round. And iBUYPOWER with a brilliant victory of 16-3.
Okay, Paul, so I have a question.
Yes.
Which side of the bed did iBUYPOWER wake up from this morning?
I think they may have had 3 Weetabix each.
I don't know what that was, but I have to say, and I'm sure this point will probably get brought up at some, maybe by the analyst desk, but Dignitas always seem to have problems. Like usually they blast through groups, and I remember that in Quake we would see this a lot. You know, some players, some teams great at groups, but when the pressure really is on, when that match really matters,
completely rubbish.
What do you see? And it's almost like iBUYPOWER, like Wily Coyote, and sorry, the other way around. We had Roadrunner be iBUYPOWER.
I knew where you were going with it.
Exactly. Every time Dignitas were trying to come up with something, you know, they come up and just blow it up and then run away. Really
I think they definitely had orders from Akbi on that one because nothing they tried worked. Let's find out what the analysts think over on the desk with Sir Scoots.
Some shit.
Wow, I think it's safe to say that we did not expect that. Pleasantly surprised, I guess, if you're an iBUYPOWER North American fan. I mean, it started out very close, and those first 4 or 5 rounds, I'm like, no, they can't trade like this. This is gonna get really scary on the second map, and then all of a sudden, the streak.
Allow me to rephrase. I think it's safe to say no one with any rational thinking could have expected that.
I mean, amazing stuff. I mean, literally.
I mean, Dignitas started up 2-0, then they just rushed B. iBUYPOWER just demolished them in that tunnel. They're CZ 75. I think Swag got 4 kills that round. From that point on, it was game. They had nothing going for them anymore. Swag played amazing. He finished with close to 30 frags, I believe. Yep. Skadoodle hit a lot of good op shots. Just a very good showing by iBUYPOWER.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems with iBUYPOWER is it's easy if you want to make fun to be like, oh, they always fail the majors. In Europe, they're never that good. But if you ever look at the way they lose those tournaments, it's not because of skill or like a bad team at all. It's like crumbling under pressure or not being able to execute on T side. Skill-wise, if you put them against a team like Dignitas, both teams are stacked with aim skill, and they actually match up pretty well. And like I said before, when they got to play yesterday again on Fnatic against Dust2, Inferno, these are the maps for a team like iBUYPOWER, actually. They're like a run-and-gun style of team, and I didn't expect them to be this dominating here, but this was a really impressive performance. They totally came on fire. Meanwhile, for Dignitas, their 2 stars to me are Device and dupreeh, and they were really choking in that first half. They had something like 6 kills in like about the first 10 rounds or something. It was a really bad half, and so Dignitas, this whole tournament, have looked really off. And at the moment, listen, iBUYPOWER only narrowly lost to the team who are probably going to be in the final of here, so I think actually you got to think that iBUYPOWER is going to take the second map and they're going to be going through, especially as how can Dignitas win with that sort of margin? So it feels like iBUYPOWER have done enough already.
Yeah, that's what it's going to come to. It's like it doesn't even matter if they win the next map. They just need 4 rounds. Because
like we mentioned, the tie-breaking system is it's the map difference over these 2 maps. So since they won so heavily here, you have to get them onto a map that you can win a lot on, and you have to really tear off a huge streak. You can't let them win. So as a result, that even changes the way you play the game, because essentially iBUYPOWER don't have to play for the win. Like, you can actually even play a style where you just play denial, you don't ever take any risks, you just play a very safe style and grind a few rounds out. It'd be very different if you had to win the map, you know.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see a little bit more traditional like money play system where they wait, they don't do those little.
It might even be possible on some of those scenarios to do that weird thing that you can do in the money system in CSGO where you set up a round that if you win it, okay, it's kind of a flyer that we win it, and if we lose it, we literally break your money because like you've just won the round back and now we reset you. That's actually the sort of thing you should do in this scenario when you got so many rounds up, because you don't need to win rounds, you just need to stop them.
Yeah, and again, like iBUYPOWER did exactly what they needed to do. Not only one, but literally huge round difference. And you know, we've heard from the other game, you guys were watching a little bit of it as well, when you guys came here, it was 10-3 for Cloud9, so again, they're doing the same kind of thing. They're
and on T side of Cash, which is the hardest side by far.
That's amazing. So again, they'll probably win with a decent margin, again, knock on wood, right?
Yeah, similar storyline again, like going into the next map, you'll know that the Virtus.pro would have to win by a lot, so you'll know the map pick makes sense, and again, similar sort of play should be employed by the team leading actually.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this map. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the second vetoes and pick, and we'll see if iBUYPOWER can close it out. And again, even if they lose, they just got to lose by, you know, the round difference. Like you said, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer almost. I mean, they'd have to literally almost like AFK to not at least get 4 rounds. But we'll see what the map
accepted.
Is. Exactly. Yeah. Steele's like, yeah, I can do that on second thought. That being said, we'll be right back after this commercial break. Thanks.